Wait, guys, I'm not sure if you heard, but the new 1975 song just dropped. This is not a drill. Let me put you on. It's still kind of underground, so not ready. You're not ready for this.
Don't throw mentals on this stage.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alyssa. You might know me because of my Instagram, Hot Girl Literature, but like, let's be really probably don't. But that is okay because today's video is not about me. It is about our favorite rat, Matty Healy. Don't know who Matty Healy is? Congrats. You probably have amazing mental health and you never had to enter 2014 Tumblr culture. But if you're anything like me, you probably have an unhealthy obsession with this man, even though you don't understand why and you desperately do not want to. For those lucky enough not to know, Matty is the lead singer of the 1975. He is also the man you probably seen recently on your For You page for making out with literally anyone in sight. Like, no one is safe from this man. Or from his new auto-tune greatest hits.
Someone's falling down over there, got fucking sawmill spots standing there like a bunch of dickheads.
Talent. Clearly, this man is an enigma to many, and I feel like there's a lot going on inside of that brain we need to unpack. So, in order to do that, I took it upon myself to read some of the books that he recommended, so you guys don't have to. You're welcome. You might ask, Alyssa, why are you qualified to do this? Besides having no life and being an avid reader, I am obsessed with this man. I just need to know. Like, I need to know what he's been thinking, and I feel like books are the way to do that. I seen the 1975 for the 10th time in November. I know I'm crazy. Also, somehow, like, manipulated my way into a meet and greet that I did not win tickets for. And honestly, if this man seen me in the streets, he would probably get a restraining order on me, but it's fine. So let's move on to books that I have been reading this week, or will read this week. The first three I read earlier in this week. Did I record them? No, because I'm an amazing YouTuber, but we'll talk about them later. And those were A Season in Hell, Society of the Spectacle, 10 Arguments for Deleting Your Social Media, On the Road, and The Infinite Jest. I'm scared. Also, another book that I will be talking about in the wrap-up but not be reading this week is Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem. I don't want to flex it, but I kind of like already read it. We're kind of soulmates. Real quick, I just want to say shout out to the Instagram account Celeb Book Recs because they put together this whole list for Maddie. And honestly, I am not that motivated to go find them. So thank you to them. Actually, right now we are at Barnes & Nobles and I'm going to go buy The Infinite Jest because my library did not have it in time. So we're going to go buy it. And I think that's it for now. I'll update you in a little bit. I fear the time has come. Like, why is it allowed to be this big? Like, why would a book ever need to be this big? I am gonna record myself to hold myself to it because if I don't, honestly, I'm scared I'm just not gonna read it. Oh my god. Guys, I'm a genius. Literally, page one, the first sentence is, I'm seated in an office surrounded by heads and bodies. Sounds familiar? This is off to a good start. I'm literally so confused. Guys, I'm in Maddie costume. Please be so real though. Am I giving Matty Healy core or an Olive Garden employee circa 2010? Let me know. Or honestly don't. I'll probably cry. Guys, we did it. Kind of. Ish. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I read Matty Healy's books for a week and let me tell you, it was a lot. Like, he's just not using big words for fun. First book I'm going to talk about is the only one I didn't read this week, and that is Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion. If you guys don't know what this book is about, it's pretty much a collection of essays from our girl Joan, just like living her best life in California in like the 60s-ish era time, you know what I mean. So I actually just like flipped through it the other day to kind of refresh my mind on it. Honestly, I forgot how distinctive Joan's voice is. If you guys were wondering, my favorite essay out of this collection is probably on self-respect, but I really do love Slouching Towards Bethlehem as well. I have loved this woman's work for literally years, and you should imagine my surprise when I seen Matty also loved her. Oh my god, why am I acting like Joan Didion's Underground? I hate me. But you know what I mean? Like when your favorite artist likes something you like, it's groundbreaking. You know, it's literally Joan Didion, it's not. So Pitchfork actually did an interview at Matty a while back talking about the things that influenced the album Notes on Conditional Form, and Joan Didion was one of them. I thought two things when I first heard that. The first was, wow, that's hot. And the second is, wow, he's so me. Throughout the interview, he pretty much talks about how much he admires her work and her writing and how he wanted his own writing to evoke the same emotions that hers has. But my favorite part of the interview by far was when Matty said he loved Joan Didion's ability to view the counterculture for what it was outside of its cultural coolness. Like, are you kidding? That is such a good quote. And honestly, like, that quote alone just encapsulates why I love Joan as well. Now that I know Matty is a certified Didion fan, I can totally see how his writing is Joanified. For instance, Joan's writing is very raw and blunt and to the point, and it doesn't shy away from the reality of things, even if it isn't so glamorous. And when Matty writes, he kind of does the same thing. We all know this by now. Matty is very, very unfiltered, maybe to a fault. But he also often talks about important things that are happening within our world that other artists shy away from. In more recent work, you can see this in Looking for Somebody to Love. It's about school shootings. But my favorite example of how Matty writes about our society will forever be Loved If We Made It. In the song, he takes a lot of global headlines and quotes and directly puts it into the sort of anthem, which highlights a lot of volatile aspects of our society, but he also makes it hopeful for change. But back to the essay collection. I would totally recommend Joe Didion's work to literally anyone, especially this book. I will give it 4.5 menthols, just because there are like 2 essays in here that just didn't really get my attention, but overall, like, amazing. Oh my god. If you guys don't get the reference, you're gonna definitely think I'm like a chain smoker. I swear I'm not. I don't smoke. You shouldn't smoke. Smoking's bad. I think it's like known. It's just for the bit. Let me live. So the next book I want to talk about is A Season in Hell. In a Genius lyric video for the song Loved If You Made It, Matty stated author is actually one of his favorite poets. He said that the stuff he wrote was so dense and revolutionary. And he's not wrong about the dense part, I can tell you. His writing is extremely dark and angsty, and it's to the point where it's almost unsettling to read. There's also loads and loads of symbolism in this book, so if you are a symbolism girly, this one is for you. Did I understand most of the symbolism? Maybe, potentially, but I feel like most of it, you know, just like went right over my head. I kid you not, when I was reading this, I could not stop thinking about the song Paris and the line where he goes, "Oh, I think my boyfriend's a nihilist." Whoever said that to him wasn't wrong, because this book is nihilism at his finest. I know a lot of people love this man and stan him, and I can see why, but for me personally, I'm gonna give it 3.5 menthols because I am not a poetry girly, no matter how hard I want to be. And I also feel like I'm a little dense and I was missing some context clues that I probably had to read more of his work or like know his life or something to fully understand everything that was happening. Don't be wrong, I do also normally eat up existential dread and all that sort of stuff, but it was a little much, even for me. Maybe I'm getting happier, who knows? I'm growing. So the next one I'm going to talk about is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. Oh wait, I'm a good YouTuber. So if you didn't know, the 1975 got their name because Matty actually had this old copy of On the Road, or like a Jack Kerouac book, but I think it was this one. I'm hoping it was this one. But if not, we're just gonna go with it for my sanity. He had an old copy of some Kerouac book, and on the inside cover it said June 1st, the 1975, and the whole "the" in the 1975 stuck with him, so there's the band name. At its core, this is a road trip book during the whole Beat Generation movement in America. I feel like you really get that, like the vibes. The vibes are there. But that's about it because there is no plot. There is only vibes. But for me, I found it to personally drag a lot, especially in the second half of this book. It went on for way too long. I feel like a lot of people are about to come for my neck right now, but I really did not like this book. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. I'm scared to say. Why am I scared to say I don't like something? I don't know why I'm so scared to say I don't like something, but Personally, this book just screams written by a man. I just feel like this is the type of book that a film major bro dude would try to mansplain you the entire thing. And I can't handle that. So, for personal reasons, it is 2.5 menthols for me. But don't get upset if you like this. I get it. Kind of. It's just not for me. Don't take my opinion too seriously. Like, who am I? Literally, who am I? Why are you getting mad? So stop. Okay, so the last three books actually tie together really well. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about them and my opinion, and then I'm going to talk about how they all connect. So the first one I'm going to talk about is 10 Arguments for Deleting Your Social Media Account Right Now. And you guys guessed it. It's exactly what it sounds like. Shocker. Into this book as an audiobook, and I feel like that's a way to do it because it's super fast. I listened to it under 3 hours. The main takeaway from this book is, hi, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me, clearly, because that's what this man told me. Basically, this book stated some things I already knew but never really wanted to come to terms with. You know, just basic things like the algorithm controls my life, I'm easily influenced by internet culture. I mean, they're not wrong. This book didn't really bring up any new or interesting points on why internet cultures ruin our lives, but it was a good reminder to like not take things too seriously. Like sometimes I really do need the reminder of like just take a step back. For that alone, I'm gonna give it 3 menthols. So the next we're gonna talk about is a society and a spectacle, and I feel like this honestly goes perfectly with the previous book, The 10 Arguments to Delete Your Social Media Account Right Now. This book is all about how we live in a consumer-filled culture where we're always falling victim to the spectacle. The spectacle is pretty much another word for like advertising or media, pop culture, social media, things like that. But in this case, Guy Debord is a situationalist who believes that capitalists are using the spectacle to kind of distract the masses. During an interview with Another Man magazine, Matty actually talked on Guy in this book, and he said, I think that situationists were super cool and super chic and super clever and super full of shit. I love that. Like, he's so, there's no words. I can't with him. Pretty much later in the interview, he kind of elaborated a little bit and said he loved reading about this book and situationists in general because they are very interesting to him, but he said he can never be one because he just thinks they take themselves way too seriously. And then later, he actually said that he could never be one because he would want to watch Love Island after 20 minutes. He's so real. This was a really interesting read, but I'm gonna give it 3 menthols just because I have the attention span of a squirrel and it took me a minute to digest. Finally, the whole idea of the spectacle really resonates with the next book I'm gonna talk about, which is Infinite Jest. Guys, I'm gonna be so real with you right now. I didn't finish. I got like 400 pages in and I just could not do it anymore. My pea brain could not handle it. Do you see how thick this is? It's thicker than my brain. My breaking points were the footnotes. Why is there 100 pages? Why? Guys, I really hate DNFing a book. It drives me insane. I'm a Taurus and I am so stubborn, but for my sanity, I'm gonna put it down for now, and in the future, I will read it because I want to have bragging rights about this book. I did gather this book is about a dystopian sort of society in Massachusetts, and it's 2 different groups of people. The first group is these people at this tennis academy, and the second group are people who live at this halfway house. Also, this like cartridge DVD thing going around that if you watch it, you get so obsessed with watching it that you physically can't stop. And if you do, die. As you guys can probably tell, the last 3 books had a very similar theme of media sucks and it takes over your life and ruins everything. I feel like the 1975 really embodies these 3 books in their latest tour that they're on now, the 1975 at the very best. For instance, I would say like the first half of the concert is this big stage performance, and then on like right before the second act, he literally goes through a TV. Like this man goes like whoop, into one. He's dramatic. But in the second half, he emerges and he has this fully formed rock star persona. But I think that's a whole play on how people often let the things they consume them and why we shouldn't do it. I think that's all I have to say because I could talk about this for way too long, so I'm gonna shut up now. As a final conclusion, I have a shocking revelation, probably to everyone, but most importantly me, is I think Matty Healy is smarter than me. That's something I never thought I would say ever. Honestly, I don't know why that's so shocking to me. This man literally uses lyrics like a simple Epicurean philosophy. What is that? Look me in the eyes right now and tell me you knew what that was without looking it up because I simply refuse. I refuse to believe that. So that is it for today, guys. I hope we learned a lot. You probably didn't. But if you want to see more videos from me in the future, remember to subscribe, please. Okay, I will see you guys next time. Bye.
I love Matty Healy. I love Matty Healy. I love Matty Healy. He's a right dickhead, but I do love him.